Hi, welcome back to the Colorblind Architect Podcast. I'm David, and this is my car again. Yes. Um, it just seems to be a really good place to do podcasting for some reason. And I'm not the only one. It seems like it's a pretty popular way of doing these kinds of videos. But here's the deal. I'm freaking tired. And I imagine you are too. I imagine that collectively as a nation, we are just so freaking tired. We're tired of the mess. We're tired of the corruption. We're tired of the two political parties constantly lying and cheating and fighting, and I think that's why so many people were so confused, and why this was such a close election, and why so many states are still in recount, because frankly, I don't think anybody knows what do we do. What do we do? Um, sure looks like Joe Biden's going to be our next president. Which, if you've watched if you've watched my videos, or if you've been following anybody but like Glenn Beck or Ben Shapiro, or anybody who's actually reporting truth, anybody who's actually reporting stuff about the corruption of the Democrats, because for some reason, uh, outlets like the New York Times and CNN, they can't seem to find their butt from an anthill. I'm totally mangled that metaphor, but I mean, basically, they don't know what the hell they're doing. I mean, CNN is so freaking lost. They can't even identify a riot when it's a riot, and instead call it a mostly peaceful protest. And yet, for a 100% peaceful protest, like the Million MAGA March that happened last Saturday, they focus in on the fact that some Antifa people tried to beat up some Trump supporters, and those Trump supporters fought back in defense of themselves. And what does CNN and a lot of the leftist media do? They report it as though it was the Trump supporters who started the fight. And it's like, gosh, I can't take this falseness. I can't take this lying anymore. This is just ridiculous how much they just lie and lie and lie. So I don't know. All I know is I see CNN and New York Times, and they are willfully, openly, blatantly lying about stuff. And yet people are believing them. We've got the Democrats who are absolutely corrupt. They have gone so far over to the dark side that I don't even know how we're supposed to have any kind of relationship with them. And, to my Democrat friends, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the politicians. I'm talking about the political party. I'm talking about these people who are so up George Soros's ass that they can kiss his lips from inside. Okay? I'm saying these people are so freaking corrupt. And this is what really bothers me. This is what really bothers me, is that Joe Biden goes out that Saturday after the election, after the news media proclaims him king, which, of course, there's still ongoing recounts. There's still races that are too close to be called. There's still lawsuits happening. I just don't think it's a good idea to be saying, yes, he is definitely the president-elect, even though most likely he is. I get it. I get it. Most likely he is. But it's not a good idea to be saying that. And so he goes out there and he says, oh, well, it's time for us to unite. And I'm going to echo what a lot of other commentators on the right side of the aisle are saying. Unite around what? You guys have been lying to us for years. I mean, take for example the whole children in cages issue. That was Obama. Obama was the one. Obama was the president when those cages were built. Joe Biden was vice president when those cages were built. That's when the policy of sticking the kids in the cages started, and it was actually Trump that stopped it. Okay? Obama promised to take the troops out of Afghanistan. Guess who finally did? It was Trump. Trump was the one who ordered and got the troops out of Afghanistan. Hopefully they actually get out. Because apparently the Pentagon's been lying to Donald Trump for the last 2 years, saying, "Oh yeah, we're drawing down forces in Syria. Yeah, we're drawing down forces in Iraq and Afghanistan. Oh yes, sure we are." They were lying. They were lying to the president, the commander-in-chief. And whether you like him or not, we need to know that our president actually can command the military, because you know what? If the military's lying to the president and not doing what the president tells them to do, then we've got a very, very serious issue, because that means the military could do a coup at any time. They could just take over, place whoever they want as dictator. That's the whole reason why the Constitution has an elected civilian as the commander-in-chief, because we want the people to vote on the president so that the president is answerable to the people, and so that way the military is answerable to the people. So here we have the military lying to the president, and yet the left is saying, "Oh, good, because they weren't listening to the president." Wait, just a couple years ago, just a few years ago, you same leftist were saying we need to get the troops out of Afghanistan. Now, Trump's been trying to get the troops out of Afghanistan, and the military's been lying to them, and now the left, all of a sudden, they're happy to keep troops in Afghanistan? Okay, now tell me the truth. Tell me the truth, Democrats. What the hell do you want? I mean, I don't get it. What do you actually want, or are you just lying to us nonstop? And why is this so important to me? Because I have sons. I know very well what can happen if we get into a really nasty war. I don't want to see my sons have to go off to war. I don't want to see anybody's sons have to go off to war. I'm sick and tired of the endless wars. I'm sick and tired of the endless sending troops out to foreign countries, to godforsaken places, where what are we even there for? The whole terrorism thing, yes, I get it, 2001, 9/11. We all thought that we needed to send our troops into Afghanistan and take out the Taliban. Where did that get us? I think as a country, maybe did we commit a sin in acting out in vengeance instead of praying to God that God would have vengeance. I don't know. Maybe. And maybe that's the problem right now, is that I think so many of us who believe in truth, who believe in justice, who believe in the Constitution, so many of us are angry and mad, and we want justice. We want these corrupt criminal politicians to actually be held accountable and actually be put in jail. And yet, we can't even get that. And so, maybe that is the solution. Maybe the solution is we do need to put it into God's hands. And maybe we need to just pray and fast. and ask God to heal our nation and to heal our world. Look, I don't care if you're religious or not. If you're watching this video and if you've made it to this point, unfortunately, that probably means that you agree with me. And I don't necessarily say that criticizing you as a viewer, all two of you. I don't know how many people actually watch these videos, but look, if you've made it this far into the video, like I said, you probably agree with me. And so I'm probably preaching to the choir. And again, as I said on my first video, I didn't start this YouTube channel so that I could become popular, so that I could get a bunch of viewers. What I started it for was I wanted to have an outlet. I wanted to be able to vent some of my feelings, my frustrations, some of my thoughts, because too often in society nowadays, we just don't talk anymore, and we don't talk openly about actual issues. And social media was supposed to be one of those things that could help solve that issue, because then we could, in all our hectic lives, going back and forth to work and to shopping centers and everywhere, in our modern lives, everybody was just too busy. We never actually stopped in the public square to talk to one another. And in fact, we usually don't like to go to the public square anyways, because it's full of homeless people. And that's not a slap against homeless people. Let me say that very clear. I'm actually horrified at our homeless epidemic, but that's a whole nother topic, a whole nother video. I would love to come up with a solution for that issue, to help these people to no longer be in such a horrible state. But what I mean by this is that the public square is no longer a place where people come and talk to each other. We have so many distractions through TV, Netflix, computers, gaming, and even sports, and whatever it is that we do to fill up our days and keep ourselves distracted from reality. We have so many things that keep us distracted from reality that we never actually talk to one another. And so for so many decades, we have been just letting it slide and just kind of assuming that the politicians on our side, whether you're a Democrat or Republican, I think the voters, the average citizens, we all just kind of went, oh yeah, this politician, yeah, they're on my side, so yeah, they're gonna fight it for me. I don't have to. I can just keep playing. I can just keep doing my thing. And so when social media came about, I was definitely confused as to what the hell it was. At first, I mean, like, the first time I saw Facebook, I'm like, what the hell am I supposed to do with this? And the only thing that convinced me to get onto it and stay on it was I saw so many of my family and friends starting to sign up, and we would share thoughts and ideas, mostly sharing family pictures, which was kind of nice because, the whole blogging thing was kind of the way that we were trying to share family photos and experiences with the rest of the family, because, you get, we live here in Utah. A lot of our family lives in other parts of the country, and some of our family even lives in other parts of the world. And, it's like, how do you keep in touch with them? And so social media, Facebook, that it seemed like such a, at the time, once we realized oh, okay, yeah, you can share photos on this, you can, can talk, and, it's kind of an offline thing, so you can, you know, you get to have this kind of, it might not be concurrent, but you're still sort of kind of having a conversation. And then over time, it also became a place where, it was almost like a political forum, and we all were just talking back and forth, and, you could discuss ideas, but slowly but surely, anybody who was on the left didn't want to hear anything that somebody on the right was saying, and anybody on the right didn't want to talk about or hear about anything that people on the left were talking about. So we all just kind of built these echo chambers for ourselves. We all just kind of insulated ourselves by, unfriending people who disagreed with us politically. And where has that gotten us as a country? Now we're all in a bunch of echo chambers. We all think that everybody thinks like us, and then when we're confronted with the reality that half of the country, or at least in the case of this election, 77 million to 74 million people voted Biden versus Trump. So you're talking about 150 million people voted, and half the country disagrees with you. Just think about that. So if you're thinking that everybody agrees with you, think again. Half of the country disagrees with you. Regardless of what your opinion is, half the country disagrees with you. And if you can accept that, truth, and start opening up to what other people are talking about, you're going to be a little bit more capable of understanding. I think people on the right are a little bit more open to what the left are talking about, largely because we're forced to. I think a lot of us who are more right-leaning, we're confronted with the New York Times and CNN and basically the stuff, that the talking points of the left. We're confronted with it on a daily basis through the mainstream media, and so we're kind of forced to see both sides. Whereas I'm not so sure the left ever sees anything the right is saying. So if there is anybody on the left actually watching this video, my plea is, please watch The Blaze, please watch Daily Wire, please watch Newsmax, please connect with some right-wing media sources, and not to necessarily support them or agree with them, just so that you know what the other side is saying. Because if you don't know what the other side is saying, then you're going to be totally confused when they come across, and you're going to think these people are evil. And same thing on the right. Get to know what the left is thinking, because it's very easy, especially for me. I have to admit, I consider these little twerps that dress up in all black and go do these Antifa riots. I despise them. I mean, that leads more to the fact that I abhor violence and I abhor vandalism. I consider both of them just deplorable. It's like, to me, that is just a horrible thing to be doing. Maybe you disagree. I just don't think it's right for you to, destroy somebody else's property. And part of the reason why I say that is because, how do you know that it's a big corporation? How do you know that it's some big rich billionaire who can afford the loss? How do you know it's not some, lower middle class mom and pop operation where they scrimped and saved and put every last dollar, and they've got a big huge bank loan that they had to take out in order to start up their little mom and pop restaurant, and you go and break the windows, spray paint graffiti all over it, or even burn it down. What the hell, man? What the hell? I mean, these people don't have tons of money, and you just destroyed their lives by destroying their business. So yeah, I have a very low tolerance for any of these Antifa types who are going around committing acts of vandalism or violence. Now, if you want to peacefully protest, great. So long as you keep it peaceful and you don't commit any crimes and you don't commit any acts of violence, vandalism, which by the way are crimes, so long as you keep it completely peaceful, yeah, great, wonderful. I think you're stupid for your beliefs, but great. I'm happy for you to have that right to speak your opinion. Just as I hope that you have the same respect for me to speak out on my opinions. But somehow I doubt that's the case, because unfortunately, when Joe Biden says we need to unify, what the left means by that is, you right-wingers, you need to submit to our will. You need to bow down, shut up, and get ready for the gulags because we're in charge now. That's what they're trying to say. And whether that may be like fear-mongering, just maybe it's just a lot of pent-up anxiety. I don't know. I sure hope that if Biden actually is inaugurated president, that he rules with, he governs with peace and integrity and hopefully forgiveness for those who disagree with him. Hopefully he'll do with magnanimity, magnanimousness, however that word goes. Sorry. Anyways, the point is, hopefully he does that. Now, do I believe he will? Probably not. I don't think he will. If he does, great. I'll be pleasantly surprised. Just like I was pleasantly surprised that Donald Trump didn't turn out to be the horrible, horrible louse of a president that I thought he was going to be back in 2016 when I voted against him. So, I could be totally wrong. I've been wrong many, many times before. And I'll probably be wrong many times again. And with that said, I'm going to bid you farewell again. And anyways, I'm the Colorblind Architect. Peace out.